Good morning, good morning. Thank you for joining us, viewers. We are live with Liga Virtual F1 for round 7 of their 2021 Formula 1 Championship season. It's been a bit of a tight season so far, that's nothing to argue with. There were a few drivers that are challenging for second, third and fourth place, but up at the front it's all about Carlos Fenno, who isn't currently out there on the grid. So this could be a chance for a lot of drivers to make up a lot of lost ground. So thank you once again for joining us. Jarasai does say good morning to all. If you do want to get involved in the chat, I can see that live on my screen and I will respond and have a chat with you as we get the racing underway. We're in the final practice session of the morning and we will soon be heading over to the qualifying, of which there may only be one session. It all depends on whether we get enough drivers on the field to have 2 qualifying sessions. Now I will mention up front and beforehand that I am indeed solo for this broadcast. Our broadcaster is currently on holiday, so your commentator and your broadcaster is myself, Alexander Rhodes, and I hope I can provide a little bit of entertainment for you all as we see some very entertaining action in these difficult to control Formula 1 cars of last year. Now, a few talking points here. There's a few drivers that really want to make amends for lost time, lost points and disasters at some of the other races. We had 2 street races prior to this, both of which caused all sorts of dramas, as street circuits normally do. But this is Paul Ricard, and while it's very difficult to work out where the track goes for the cameras most of the time, it's not so difficult for the drivers. They have been practicing, they will know this circuit, unlike the last circuit, and they will have been practicing in order to make sure that they're in top form and to prevent any incidents. Now, as you can see on your timing screen, we have Danny01 currently taking the charge. That isn't a qualifying time, that's just practice, so it is all set to change. Danny01 is currently in the pits, right behind his Mangle C12, who's stopped on circuit at the moment. That's your yellow in sector 2. Asite currently in 3rd place. Now these 3 drivers have had difficulties in the last few races, but they are aiming to make amends for today. Now you have Jeff, who had that fantastic 2nd place a few races ago, aiming to keep hold of that 2nd place in the championship if he can, but there are challengers such as Cabeza Speed, Hazeti HD. We had Ivan putting in a fantastic race last time around as well. So don't count out any of these drivers. Nico Maimo did very well last time around, not on the track at the moment. However, keeping it calm, he did manage to have a very respectful points position despite not having the pace that Carlos Fenno was delivering. So here we go then. We are into a qualifying session. And this is qualifying 3. So there will only be the one qualifying session, as we are on board with Adam Kachishny. Again, nobody's come and told me how to pronounce the names correctly, so I'm going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. When the drivers eventually correct me on how to pronounce the names correctly, or the gamer tags, how they want it to be said, I will then be able to pronounce it correctly. But for now, you're going to have to put up with my awful pronunciation, as we're just watching Adam come around the circuit, just warming up the tyres, being careful not to lock up the brakes, as you just see there. And Adam is in the fantastic McLaren livery car of last year, the beautiful papaya orange and blue. And this is going to be a very interesting show from a lot of these drivers, just to see where they are and how they stack up without Carlos Fenno on the grid. Now, of course, Carlos Fenno can afford to drop a few points. He is a long way in the lead in this championship, so this won't hurt him too much. As we are seeing these drivers come around for their first attempt to qualify. Now Adam is on the soft tyres, as you can see. That's denoted by the red ring on the sidewall. And you will see a mix of tyres used here at Paul Ricard. The mediums have a yellow sidewall and the hards have a white sidewall. I would expect to see people on the hards at this circuit. It is very abrasive, very difficult to manage the tyres. As we see, there are no times on the board. A couple of people in the pits at the moment. Carlos 1982 Spain and MG 1998 Italy currently sat there in the pits, not yet wanting to go out and put a lap time out there. Now this doesn't mean that they won't get a chance, it just means that they'll have fresher tyres later on when there is more rubber on the circuit, so they can put a better lap time down. As we are seeing now, we should have some sector times coming in, so a purple in sector 1 from Adam. Of course that is subject to change as other drivers come through. You can see on your screen the current orders, they will change. MG 1998 if he has come out. Purple in sector 2 from Adam. Nobody's beaten sector 1 yet, so this could be provisional pole for at least another lap. There is a driver behind catching, there might be on an outlap. Asite now looks to have taken sector 2 purple. That's not updated on the overlay just yet. So Adam first across the line. Quickly followed by Danny 01, and Danny 01 takes pole straight back off. Adam Gutchinson is pushed into third place now, with Asite taking that second place. Not much time between these drivers, however. You're looking at 7/10 between first and second on the first lap. Adam putting in a very reserved lap there, 3 seconds off the pace. ZTHD now taking third, just a second behind Danny 01. Danny 01 with a lot to prove here, so this could be interesting for Danny 01, who wants to prove that he has the ability to take it to everybody else up at the front end of the field. Danny 01 has had some respectable racing going on, but has been held up and held back by others in the racing. So on board now with Asita, you can see the steering wheel there. In these cars, they do have to deal with all of the different settings that all the other drivers have to deal with in real life. So you can adjust the battery level, the KERS level, and that's not going to be a lap from Asite there. Because ZTHD now coming out of the pits. I'm wondering if Carlos is doing that lap. He's not at the moment. So Carlos and MG 1998 Iffy both in the pits again. We have a purple in sector 3 from Cabeza Speed, who seems to have dived back into the pits. So Cabeza Speed now in that third place spot. Hun Benjamin 34, thank you for joining the chat. Let's go Balin. Looking for a win from your driver. Well, let's hope so. Let's hope we have a challenge from a number of drivers. We're currently waiting for someone to beat the best time of Danny 01 with a 1:27.750. And Danny 01 going for a lap at the moment. Let's see what the sector 1 time is going to be when he comes around. It's about 36 seconds at the moment for sector 1. So we've got a few seconds to go as the camera doesn't seem to be changing. Danny 01's decided he's not going for it this time around. This is why. Asite is coming out of the pits. And Cabeza Speed still sat there, enjoying his time in there. Mangle C12 goes into second place now. 1:27.951. Very good time, taking it a lot closer to Danny 01. And then Jerry says, nah, Danny win. We have some fans, we have some interesting drivers that we're all cheering for today. Let us know what you think is going to be the result of this race. Let us know who you're cheering for, what teams you like the best. Of course, we have a long championship to go yet. When Benjamin 34 says at least one Hungarian win, I hope, if I didn't manage to do it in Baku. Let's hope. Let's hope there's a win for many of these drivers to come. There's a lot of talent here today, and a lot of these drivers are very, very capable of taking wins, and if not, taking the fight to Carlos Fenner. I know Carlos Fenner seems untouchable, but as we saw in the World Touring Car Championship, he can be beat. And let's hope some of these drivers can step up to that challenge. As Daniel 1 is now gearing up for a massive attack. Let's see if he can improve on that already impressive pole position that he has right now. Just looking at Mangel C12 time, 2/10 exactly behind the last time set from Daniel 1. So Daniel 1 will be feeling a little bit under pressure to go a bit faster if he can. Of course, that then allows him a little bit more breathing room. Should anybody else put a charge in Adam Gachisnik, all the way down in 10th place at the moment. He will be hoping for better. We have Valdinger just ahead in 9th, Maimo in 8th. Again, Maimo was quite a long way down the field last time out and ended up respectfully in the points, grabbing a good handful. As Daniel 1 is purple in Sector 1 and Sector 2. So this could be a new fastest lap. As he's bringing this Alpine livery car around the tricky final section. It's very, very slow around that last corner, and that may catch a few people out on the power. It didn't catch Daniel 1 out there. He goes purple in Sector 3 as well, and that gives us a new personal best of 1 minute 26.968. So that is for everybody else to beat at the moment. We have Asiite on track trying to do just that. However, he's yellow in Sector 2, so he might not be able to push Sector 3 that far. However, he might secure second place if he can improve. He does improve, and he does indeed take that second place away from Mangel C12, who's not currently on a lap, but he will be hoping to deliver a better lap time to get a little bit closer. We have Cabeza Speed on track at the moment, coming up towards the finish line. 2 green sectors, and he improves up into 3rd place. So that's a number of drivers now under the 1 minute 28 second mark. And here we see Balin. And we've had a few of you cheer for Balin on board in this Ferrari livery car. 1 minute 28.911 at the minute. He will be hoping to improve. And just very carefully coming around the end of the first sector here. And then you can really start to open the car up and let the car fly down this rear section. DRS zone, that will be available in the race for the drivers to use. We can see a driver down ahead. Hopefully that doesn't slow down Balin too much. Green in Sector 1. So that's an improvement for sure. Down towards this tricky chicane. It's a really weird chicane. It's a very, very long time until you're at the second apex. And then the third apex is nice and flowy. So now here we come down towards the end of the very high speed straight section, and we'll be down through the gears as it starts to get tight and twisty. As we can see, we're getting close to the car ahead, so hopefully there's not a lot of turbulence. I don't know how R-Factor 2 will deal with that. Yellow in Sector 2, so definitely something to pull out of the bag here for Balin if he's going to move up the order at all. Now, that final tricky corner, you can see how much the car has to bounce over that curb, straight down to the line for Balin. Improvement indeed, but it's still a 1 minute 28.710, so 8th place at the minute for the Ferrari livery driver. And Benjamin 34 says, but let's go Mangel C as well, we need constructor points. We do indeed. Mangel C12 has now dropped down into 4th place, currently setting up for a charge. So here we go, let's go on board with the Williams car this time. As you can see, it's a very brave turn 1. Hopefully that doesn't catch anybody out in the first lap, first corner of the race. That was very, very sideways from Mangel C12. Hoping he hasn't lost too much time there. over the curbs. He did seem to back out of it a bit, so that may be a tenth or two. But he does seem to still be giving it the beans. There's a bit more oversteer there as he comes down towards this fast back section of the track. Looking at that sector one time, it's green, so there is an improvement there for the Williams driver. Again, this tricky chicane, you can see how long you've got to wait before you turn into that second apex. And again, this car fighting Mangle C12 on the exits as it's getting the power down there. And now you can see, just chuck the car in, hope it sticks, don't take too much curb, use as much track as you're legally allowed to, and then throw it in for the next apex as you slow the car down. This is a very, very tricky track to drive, but as I did mention, it is very, very abrasive, so these soft tyres will be getting very, very hot as these drivers slide the tyres around. They will be hoping not to slide too much. As you can see, nice wide entry into the final corner there, down towards the line now. What can Mangle C12 deliver? It's a 1:27.470, so back into second place now, as we're seeing another car on circuit there with a yellow block, so that will be a reload for me for sure. That might be below that has joined us. It is indeed. So we will obviously have to reload to see that car in all its glory, and we will get that done very shortly. Now we're on board Carlos 1982 Spain. Again, another driver that, while not having the pace of Carlos Fenno, and let's face it, not many drivers do, he's still done some respectable racing, had some fantastic battles in previous races, and he will be hoping for the same today, but he will need to do better than a 1:33. The next driver ahead is a 1:30. I have the feeling that this might be an outlap for the Spanish driver, so we'll catch the rest of that shortly. Not many drivers out on circuit at the moment, with 2 minutes left to go in this session. A lot of drivers feeling safe and secure. We have Benz Valdinger in the pit as well. Adam Gutschner is in the pit also. Where is Maimo? Maimo's down in 9th place. As we saw previously, he did a fantastic race in the last Grand Prix. A lot of smoke coming off the tyres. He's just scrubbing around the corner, pushing as hard as he can. We have a green sector from Ballin, followed by a yellow sector as well. So good chance to improve here. The next driver isn't that far away, only 4 tenths. So a good chance for Ballin to improve here. As a HD on a 1:28.674 at the moment. Ballin does manage to beat that, going up into 5th place on that 1:28.430, ahead of Adri 19. So this is going to be a very tight race in the midfield. As we come down through the last minute now, who is on circuit and who is doing a lap? Adri 19 is on circuit at the moment, 2 yellow sectors. So this could be very difficult to improve, but it's not much he needs to find, only a 10th and a little bit more. Jeff is in the pits in 7th place at the moment. Mazzetti HD is on circuit, doesn't seem to be going very fast. He's on an outlap, but I don't know whether he'll make the line. Less than 30 seconds to go around the final corner. Will Hazzetti HD be able to do anything here? He's set himself up nicely. Let's go on board with the Red Bull car for this final attack on the qualifying sessions. Just chucks the car in over the curb and outside of the track. That might be an invalid lap, but we will follow around anyway. He seems to still be giving it the beans, so definitely a chance for a time. Hazzetti HD just carefully dances the car around the curbs. Again, these curbs are very, very odd. They're very shallow next to the white line, but they get very deep in the centre section of the curb, and then they've got a rib which will pull the car over. So if your rear wheel just dances over that little rib, it will cause havoc for getting the power down. ZHD yellow in sector 1, target time of 1:26.852. That seems unlikely at the moment, but the checkered flag is out at the moment. So Daniel 1 does seem to have that pole position covered. There are no purple sectors out there right now. That could change in sector 2, sector 3. Mangle C12 comes across the line for the final time. securing that one, 27.602. Green for Sector 2 now for Hezeti HD. Car ahead, hopefully that's not going to put off the Red Bull driver. Coming around the final corner now, opens it up. Let's go with the power, and all the way down to the line. It's a 128.814, so 8th place for Hezeti HD then, and that will be your starting order. So, an exciting session there. A little bit of a gap between a few of the drivers, more than I was expecting, but it is going to be very, very tightly fought for that second place position. If Daniel 1 can't maintain 26s for the race, that could also bring everybody else into contention for the win as well. But as you've seen, it's a very fast turn 1, so there is a lot to play for. So while we aim to get the grid underway, we will reload the session so that we don't have any yellow blocks on the grid. And you will have to bear with me. Again, I am doing the broadcasting and the commentating all alone as Charles is on holiday at the moment. So I do apologise if you're seeing weirder screens than you would normally see. Again, it's my first time broadcasting using R-Factor 2. That is the platform that Liga Virtual F1 does use. So if you do want to get involved and you have R-Factor 2, just get in touch with the chaps on Discord or through their website. Just search Liga Virtual F1 in Google. You will find them. They're a very friendly bunch. And it has been a pleasure to commentate and to broadcast. And I'm sure it will be no different to join these guys on track. So here we go. We have a warm-up session. A chance for everyone to let off some steam after that difficult qualifying session. Daniel 1 didn't make it easy for anybody. Mangle C12 definitely making himself the best of the rest. RCT and Cabeza Speed, two other drivers very close to Mangle C12. And then it's a bit of a midfield fight between Balin, Adri 19, Jeff and Hezeti HD. All those drivers do have a good chance of getting a podium here today, but they may have to pull a little bit out of the bag. And then you have Ben Valdinger, Nico Maimo, Adam Kuchizny, Carlos 1982, all in that top 10 possibility. This is of course providing all the drivers finish. That doesn't happen too often in R-Factor 2. And we have Alexandre Lebleur and MG 1998 Iffy rounding out the qualifying session. So there's a few drivers that are aiming to improve here, but it will be a hardly contested race no matter where you are in the field. These drivers give us a show no matter where they are. So in terms of what we have in store for you today, the event looks like this. We have 19 degrees temperature, fair weather, and the circuit is Paul Ricard. These races do tend to go on for about an hour, if not just a little bit more. There is a lot of laps to go. These drivers, of course, will be fatigued by the end of it. There's a lot of sweat involved, and it is very difficult to keep your focus. And then throughout the rest of the championship, we're in round 7 at the moment, as you can see on your screen there. The next event is the 4th of June at the Styrian Grand Prix. I hope all of you can come and join us for that. And again, feel free to get involved on the chat. Cheer on your drivers, cheer on your teams. And let us know how we're doing as well. If you think we can improve somewhere, somehow, let us know. We will speak to the team, see if we can incorporate something to make things easier for you to follow and more fun indeed. But for now, the broadcasting is all created and curated by Charles, and he has done a fantastic job. So I must give a massive thank you to Charles for dealing with all the graphic design and getting me set up. But we are now waiting to get on with this race. So the race will start with a warm-up lap as we go around, get into formation, warm the brakes, warm the tyres. Very important for that first corner, so you can go around it as fast as possible without causing incident. That's the difficult part. So we are now looking at 1 minute 40 to go. So there is time for all of you to grab a drink, grab your snacks, have a toilet break, and we will be joining you on the grid in just a minute and a half. As the session has been advanced, as well as that the time of day will advance as well, so the day might be a little bit warmer. It might also be a little bit cooler, so we'll have a look, because you saw it was 19 degrees a little earlier. Still 19 degrees at the moment. Track temperature only 22 degrees. That's a little bit cooler than what these cars are designed for. And of course, once again, the schedule to come, if you've not seen it already or if you've not been here before, those are the races to come. So the drivers now forming up on the grid. We will have a formation lap, and then we will have a race to come. Just waiting for a few more drivers to join the grid. Asita still in the pits, just jumping out now. That's all 14 cars are now on the grid. And away they go for the formation lap then. So, your pole position driver at the French Grand Prix is Danny 01. Mangle C12 starts in second place. On the second row, it's Asita, followed by Cabeza Speed. Valent in fifth and Jeff in sixth place. Rosetic HD in seventh with Adri 19 in eighth. Then Svaldinger in ninth with Nico Maimo in 10th place. Adam Kuchichny starts on row 6 alongside Carlos 1982 Spain, and then Alexandre Lebeleur, and rounding out the grid is NG 1998 Iffy. I will be keeping an eye on the drivers all over the field. There are intense battles all the way through, and you will find all sorts of drama no matter what place these drivers are in. They will be fighting as if they're racing for the win. So it is all to see, all to come, and I hope you all enjoy the broadcast and the commentary. Again, I am your commentator and broadcaster for today's event. I am Alexander Rhodes, and I am delighted to once again be able to bring you live racing with League of Virtual F1. Again, give them a Google search, get involved with them if you fancy it. A very friendly bunch of drivers, and the racing they provide is absolutely fantastic. So as the drivers are coming around now through Sector 3, we have Danny 01 coming up towards the line, just slowing everybody down, giving chance for all the drivers at the back to catch up, warming up the tyres, warming up the brakes, getting ready for this fantastic start on the Grand Prix. As you're just watching the stragglers at the back there taking their grid positions. Now we're just waiting for the start of the race. Danny 01 now on the line. And they're away. Great start there from Asiete. Danny 01 bogged down a little bit, it seems. There's a very hot car there from what it looks like Mangle C12. As we're now watching Danny 01 overtaken from Asiete, who's disappeared in the distance. Mangle C12 did get the engine cooled down enough to continue on in third place. A little bit further down, however, Jeff has leapfrogged himself into fifth place. Rosetta HD right behind, two Alpine cars ahead. However, the McLaren liveried car, I believe that's Adri 19, yep, chasing Rosetta HD. Rosetta HD not having any of it and decides to go chasing after Jeff. Looking at the back, down the inside it seems. Fancies it on the brakes, a little bit of a wheel tap as Rosetta HD makes his way through at the very tight chicane. Jeff doing very well to keep the car on circuit there. Mangle C12 now is looking at the back of Cabeza Speed, who's got up into 3rd place. Mangle C12 down the inside. Down the inside of Cabeza Speed. Cabeza Speed wants to come back at him, however. Doesn't quite manage it that time, but in the background there, you're seeing Jeff and Hezeti HD still having a bit of a fight. These drivers not wanting to give anything up at the moment. As the camera decides to disappear for a second there, Hezeti HD now looking at the back of Jeff. And you're also seeing the 2 drivers a little bit further ahead, that is Cabeza Speed and Mangle C12, having a bit of a fight. Asite has now disappeared into the distance ahead of Danny 01 over a second, well over 2 seconds now, as we're watching these drivers looking at the back of the other car, thinking about diving down the inside or the outside, trying to outdo each other on the brakes. This is a very tight pack at the minute. A little bit further back, however, we have Carlos 1982 having a battle with Adam Kociczny. This could be a dive around the outside or the inside here. And even better for the moment. We are looking at Carlos as he nearly makes a mistake. That does make a mistake. Both drivers make a mistake. However, Adam comes off better, doesn't fall off the track as harshly as Carlos, and that is a driver position lost for Carlos, but still a chance to come back at Adam here. Carries more speed on the exit, gets down into the slipstream and then follows Adam. Adam tried to cut across, didn't have the space, so that looks like Carlos has taken the place back, but no, Adam's come back at him. These drivers swapping places left, right and centre. They cannot make their minds up which place they're going to accept. Carlos trying to find something to get past Adam Kociczny. On board now, you can see Adam taking a very wide entry into this fast right-hander there. That will give Carlos a chance to come back. Maybe, but Carlos loses it on the exit and that's a lot of time lost now. So Adam might be able to disappear up the road. Now back on board with Jeff. He's watching the back of the battle between Cabeza Speed and Hezeti HD. He's also got to be careful with Adri 19 behind. And there are a few other drivers bringing up the rear of that battle now. Bence Valentinger getting quite close, as well as Adrian 19. Mangle C12 just trying to keep onto the back of Danny 01. You can see the gap has evolved quite a lot now. Danny 01 a long way in the distance, as you can see on your screens there. But then what about Asite? Asite is almost gone from Danny's vision. Danny now 4 seconds adrift, but there is a long way to go in this race. Danny 01 of course on the medium tyres for the moment. However, Asite is on the softs, denoted by that red ring around the sidewall of the tyre. So Asite will have the pace, but he will only have the pace for a short time before the tyres start to degrade. As mentioned, it is a difficult track, is this? It's very abrasive on tyres. So I did expect to see hard tyres, but I'm seeing a lot of mediums. And there are soft tyres as well in the mix, as we're still watching this three-way battle for third place. Mangle C12, Cabeza Speed, and then Hezeti HD. As you can see, each driver trying to find the advantage, trying to find the weaknesses of the other drivers. As we come around for another lap, we have completed 3 laps. We're on lap 4. And this is not settling down at all. A little bit of a mistake there from Mangle C12, locking up the rear in the middle of the corner. This is given an opportunity now to Cabeza Speed, who comes down the inside, takes that position, says thank you very much. And Hezeti HD didn't quite get the chance to capitalise. So Cabeza Speed has the position right now. But Hezeti HD on the soft tyres, thinking about whether or not he can make a move into 4th place and take advantage of these tyres. As Mangle C12 goes on the offensive, a little bit of a tap there, just gets it wrong. That gives an opportunity for Hezeti HD to take another position. Mangle C12 doesn't lose too much, but right behind is Adri 19 now, so if there's any more of that, Adri 19 will find himself gaining positions. Asito lighting up the timing boards. Fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 38.61. Quite a bit slower than qualifying, but then they do have a lot more fuel on board. This battle still not easing off. Adri 19 getting ever closer to the back of Mangle C12 here now. We are seeing all of these drivers still trying to get away from the other people, get into some fresh air and get away. However, Cabeza Speed cannot make that happen. ZTHD will not allow him to. Mangle C12 holding on to the back of them both and carrying Jeff along for the ride. And Adri 19 still getting ever closer to this little battle. Adri 19 not yet showing on the battle for third, but he is getting close enough to be there in just a few more laps time as we're watching Jeff's lovely Alfa Romeo livery car just at the back end of this little train. But definitely close enough to attack if he gets an opportunity. A little bit further ahead, we're seeing ZTHD once again close to the back of Cabeza Speed HD here. Goes for the inside. Definitely a chance to do that, but not late enough on the brakes. Cabeza Speed HD on the harder compound tyre, outbraking ZTHD into the chicane. So that will be another lap to wait for a chance to overtake at that chicane. However, there may be a chance for another overtaking opportunity to come sooner as Cabeza Speed gets it wrong on the exit and goes a bit wide. Overheated the tyres by the look of it on the entry to that corner. The car squiggling about all over the place. But Mangle C12 still not finding a chance to capitalise on Cabeza Speed just there. As ZTHD is now into third place. As these drivers are still squabbling. And you can see Jeff is right there now. Right in the mix for this battle. And Adri 19 is a little bit closer than he was before as well. These drivers are slowing each other down, and of course that is bringing up the rear end of the field as we're watching a little bit further back. Balin looks like he might overtake Adri 19 here. The Ferrari on the McLaren. I know that a few of you are fans of Balin watching. What do you think is going to be the result of this? Is Balin going to get ahead cleanly, or is Adri 19 going to find a charge? Again, it's McLaren versus Ferrari. It's something we've seen a lot of in recent years. And you will agree that the end of this era of Formula 1 cars was a bit of a dramatic end for those people that weren't Mercedes. As we see the yellow in sector 2 there. I'm not sure who that is off the circuit as we're seeing. Oh dear, there's contact there. Who's that falling through the field? Cabeza Speed is down in fourth. I don't think that was Cabeza Speed. Nope. Who was falling down the field there? We have Carlos 1982 at the back. Le Belleur 1 lap back as well. Timing screen's not yet updated for who was going sideways on the track there. Jeff is down, falling down the field with no front wing on his car. That may be why. We have another driver taking to the infield there. Just getting it out of the way of the drivers coming around. But Jeff has definitely had contact. ZTHD is still there in third, Cabeza Speed still in fourth, Adri 19 moved up into 19th, Mangle C12 is down in 9th place. So Mangle C12 must have been the Williams that was off the field and had been told to enter the pits for repair. So Mangle C12 made contact with Jeff. Jeff also in the pits. So this is going to be a big hamper to their race. Unfortunately, they are going to have to try and recover. We know it can be done. We've seen it before. There are still 20 laps to go. However, that does give a little bit of breathing room now for the third place battle. Cabeza Speed a long way back behind ZTHD now. Don't forget, ZTHD is on the soft tyres. So in clean air, he should be able to push on harder, as you've seen from Asute. And of course, a little bit further back, Adri 19 was getting closer, but has dropped off by 5 seconds now, but still in that battle with Balin, hence the drop off in time. As you can see, just side by side there through the corner, still side by side. Not wanting to let this go isn't Adri 19. Balin does get through, however. And that is a position gain for Balin. Very wide on entry to that corner, however. As he comes around, and there's no challenge back there from the McLaren driver. So that is one position for Balin. Now up into 5th place due to Jeff and Mangle C12 being further down. Asite has pitted. Asite has gone into the pits. Let Danny 01, Hazeti HD and Cabeza Speed go down the road. Balint is now in 4th. Adri 19 ahead as well. So Asite has lost out massively from having to pit so early. However, he has made a pit stop. He is now on the medium tyres. So if nobody else can match his lap times, then Asite could find himself back in first place. Before you know it, he's not that far behind Adri 19 here. So Adri 19 could find himself in a bit more bother going wheel to wheel with another driver. However, we're looking at purple sectors from Jeff there, who has put the soft tyre on and is attempting to recover. So that's 2 drivers made a pit stop. Mangle C12 is still in the pits, however, still got damage to that Williams car. We'll be hoping to get away fairly soon. However, Danny 01 is in the lead at the moment. Still on the medium tyres. They may still have some life in them, so it's a chance for Danny 01 to gain a little bit of ground as Asite has got other drivers to contend with now. Adri 19 is still in contention with Balint here. Balint, of course, got ahead a little bit earlier. There wasn't much of a contest at the time. However, Adri 19 is not being dropped. He is not falling behind the Ferrari car. Asite isn't getting close as fast as I expected either. So this could be a longer drawn out battle than you would imagine. A little bit further down the field, we still have Valdinger in 7th, Maimo in 8th, and Adam Patrician is in 9th. Jeff is in 10th at the moment. He's got ahead of Carlos Martinez to Spain. Mangle C12 still behind. Mangle C12 is out on the track now. And to be honest, there's a fair bit of time before I'll catch Mangle C12. About 6 seconds further down the road. But from there, it is another 30 seconds down the road before I'll catch Jeff up. But Jeff has gone purple again. 1 minute 37.03, fastest lap of the race. But it's all about what is happening for this battle with Balint and Asite, as Asite does see both cars ahead of him now. Danny 01 still not coming to the pits. And will he put the softs on? Will he go for a soft stint? We've still not completed half race distance, so it may be that he stops in the latter half of the race in order to put a soft set of tyres on, or he may stop a little earlier and choose to go with another set of medium tyres. It all depends on the gap back to Asite. 18 seconds, almost 19 seconds now, which means that it is very close to a pit stop. As Asite has found the back of Adri 19 here, the McLaren driver under attack once more. Will he do any more to fend off and prevent losing a position? It does not look like he's got any answer for Asite here, as Asite goes down the inside towards turn 1 and takes that position nice and cleanly. Next driver will be Balint. Balint not driving defensively at the moment, not worried about losing a position instantly, as you can see how much ground that Haas car has made up. Looking at the battles further ahead, Hazeti HD has pulled an almighty gap from Cabeza Speed now on the soft tyres, but still has not come into the pits. Don't forget, Hazeti HD and Asite both started on the soft tyres. Asite had clean air. Hazeti HD was in a pack, battling with other drivers, and will have put more stress into that tyre. When will Hazeti HD pit, and what will that do to the lineup of the races? We see Asite going for a move here. Balint tried to defend, gives space on the inside. Asite not quite there yet, but alongside once more around this right hand corner. Both cars side by side, not giving any quarter. Balint tries to hold on as hard as he can. Asite manages to get the job done and takes 4th place from the tight claw that Balint had there. Did not want to let go of that at all, and still trying to come back at Asite around the final turn once more. Balint heading for the pits. So there is another pit stop, unforced. Balint says it is time for another set of tyres coming off the mediums. What tyres will Balint be going for? Again, this will make a difference to where these drivers go. Balint goes onto the hard tyre. I did expect to see that. However, after seeing the softs, I wasn't expecting to see it. At this point in the race, I was expecting to see it at the start, so we'll keep an eye on Balint to see what he does. Aceite now is alongside Adri 19 there. Did Aceite make a mistake? Am I even looking at the right cars? I don't think I am. I think that was further back. Jeff in the Alfa Romeo setting a purple time, 1 minute 37.03. Adam Kuchichny currently down in 10th place. Carlos 1982 still behind, as well as Mangle C12. Mangle C12 doesn't seem to be recovering as fast as Jeff. Jeff is looking towards a good recovery if he can catch the back of Balint. Balint, of course, on the harder tyre now. Jeff on the soft tyre. So this will be a very quick catch if Jeff can manage to get on to the back of Balint. We can see just down the end of this straight there, Balint having a very eventful race as Jeff is attempting to recover after some contact that we missed. Obviously the contact was between Jeff and Mangle C12, both drivers in that battle for third place, as Aceite has managed to overtake ZTHD. So ZTHD being in the pits, he has been in the pits, he's coming out of the pits on the medium tyre. He drops down into 6th place now. Will Maimo have a chance of getting ahead? Maimo is down the mid of the start straight, so I don't think he'll be close enough to his ZTHD to mount a charge here. His ZTHD isn't even in view. So ZTHD rejoins in 6th place. Bence Valdinger in 5th. Still has not pitted on the soft tyre. Adri 19 still has not pitted on the medium tyre. Aceite, as we know, has pitted in 3rd place already. Cabeza Speed is on the medium and is a good distance away from the leader, Danny 01, who now has 20 seconds ahead of Aceite and has not pitted yet. Still on this medium set of tyres and not pitting yet. He does have lap drivers ahead of him. However, Balint is the man to watch at the moment as Jeff is getting a little bit closer there. Jeff in the Alfa Romeo on the soft tyres. You can see in the distance there, that is Balint, the driver who has had battles all race long and is in one right now. ZTHD all on his own after such a hard-fought battle for 3rd place. Aceite now, after leading for so many races, is trying to find the pace to prevent anyone leapfrogging in the pits. He's 20 seconds adrift almost, but bringing that time closer towards Danny 01. So Danny 01 might want to hurry up and find that pit entry. Cabeza Speed in 2nd place now. Again, that car very low to the floor. Cabeza Speed does like to have a very stiff car, as you saw from the World Touring cars. That car bounced a lot. Very stiffly sprung indeed. As we're now keeping an eye on the times. I see Ted adrift once more. However, I believe Maimo is in this battle caught by Balint. So it's not just Jeff that Balint has to worry about, it's Nico Maimo as well. Nico Maimo on the hard tyre as well. These two drivers definitely in a battle for position. Maimo in 7th, Balint in 8th and Jeff in 9th. As we're watching these three drivers head to head, we have the Alfa Tauri, the Ferrari and the Alfa Romeo as Balint's down the inside of Nico Maimo here. Nico Maimo wide on the exit. That's going to give Jeff an opportunity to come alongside and go around the outside if he can keep the speed up. It's a right hand next, and Jeff has got the job done. So in 2 corners, Nico Maimo has lost 2 places, but he's kept it on circuit and kept his head together. Jeff and Balint are still going to be battling for a while, however, and this might give Nico Maimo an opportunity. If Nico Maimo doesn't make a mistake, stays close to these two, and these two do push each other wide, then Nico Maimo does have an opportunity to come back towards these drivers. However, they do seem to be getting away quite quickly now, as Jeff hasn't made the ground on the Ferrari car that we expected to see. The soft tyre not performing as well as you would expect at this stage of the race. This is maybe why Asiete chose to come off of the soft and onto that medium tyre. Jeff still looking at the back of that Ferrari, not making the ground you would expect in the DRS zone. Even towards the end of the braking zone at the fastest part of the straight, he's not gaining the ground that he needs to in order to make a move. This proves how much of a good job Ballant's doing. Meanwhile, further up the field on your timing screens, Cabeza Speed is getting closer to Danny 01 now. Danny Owen is in the pits, this is why. Into the pits also comes Cabeza Speed. So Asiete now has fired through into first place once more. However, Danny 01 has chosen that soft tyre. That soft tyre that Jeff is currently struggling with at the moment. However, Asiete did not struggle. Asiete pulled out an almighty gap. So Danny 01 will be hoping to bring that back. Hoping to catch Asiete for an almighty battle towards the end of this Grand Prix. Adri 19 now in third place after overtaking a few drivers in the pits. Getting wide over those curbs down. You can see the car bouncing around the place. How difficult it is on those curbs. Also in fourth place is Bens Vallandiger. He's quite way down earlier on in the Grand Prix. However, keeping his head down, keeping his racing clean, not making mistakes, being on that soft tyre, he's got his way up into fourth place. However, right behind is Josete HD. We've seen Josete HD on a charge just lately. Josete on the medium in that Red Bull liveries card, lining up for an overtake manoeuvre in the next few corners. If he can keep it together, keep his head down and keep it smooth, we will see Josete HD trying to make a move. And just ahead is Adri 19 as well. You can see that McLaren car just ahead of these two drivers. So this will soon become a 3-horse race if these two drivers don't get a move on. And you can see Josete HD really hustling the back of the Haas car there, looking to get more power out of the corner, keep the car as straight as possible, tuck into that slipstream for that first corner overtake down to the inside now. Josete HD gets the move done, I think. I don't think Benz has anything to say about that. Nope, position conceded. So Benz has chosen to duck out of that, let the faster driver go, and hopefully recover some other positions later on in the race. Don't forget, there is still a lot of laps to go. We're on lap 16 out of 27. Josete HD is already on the back of Adri 19 here, looking for another overtaking opportunity. Already alongside the McLaren there, down this long back straight. Josete HD has the move done before the braking zone there. Great racing from the Red Bull driver right now, up into third place, as Danny 01 is now setting purple sectors, aiming to close up to Asiete. 3 seconds is the deficit, and that is shrinking all the time. Looking a bit further down, Jeff is in 8th place now, but still looking at the back of Ballant. He's alongside once more. We've seen this a couple of times already. Ballant, however, hanging on for dear life, trying to keep hold of that position. Just sending it where he needs to sending it, but staying respectful at the same time, not causing dramas, not making mistakes, not sending anybody off the track unnecessarily, and therefore not causing damage. Which of course is the reason why Jeff and Manglesey have fallen behind the other drivers. There was an incident, there was contact, they fell off the circuit, had to go into the pits for repairs, as we see Jeff head into the pits once more. Jeff is into the pits on those soft tyres. We'll be hoping to stick something faster on, no doubt, and make up positions, but Jeff is falling through the order. He's in 9th place at the moment. Mangle C12 isn't quite near the pit straight right now, so will not get a chance to catch up to Jeff, who goes for another set of soft tyres. Cabeza Speed is now setting purple sectors as we see a bit of a fight there with Bence Waldinger. Cabeza Speed has set a 1:29.556 on that soft tyre, proving that it is still the fastest tyre out there right now, as he distances Bence Waldinger with no trouble at all, aiming to catch back up to his ZTHD for that third place fight. The deficit is less than 5 seconds, so that is definitely achievable in 10 laps, as Daniel 1 has clawed his way closer to Asiute. The difference now less than 2 seconds. It was 3 seconds just a few moments ago, remember. So if you are still with us, if you are still cheering for your drivers, let us know in the chat who you are cheering for. We know that Jarosai is cheering for Danny 01 to claw his way back up to Asiute, and him Benjamin 34 is hoping for Balint to score some good points here as well. Bence Waldinger is now in the pits, giving a position back to Balint, and Bence comes out on the medium tyres. Where is Maimo? Maimo is on the pitch straight and manages to get ahead of Bence Waldinger. I doubt that Jeff will have that same opportunity. He's too far back in this race, so Bence holds on to that 8th place for the moment. However, we did see Jeff coming back through the field a little earlier with some pace. That might happen once more. Cabeza Speed still setting purple sectors. The fastest time now 29.556, but sector 3 has dropped a little more. And we're also seeing cheers for Mangle C12, who has made his way into the top 10. He's in the pits at the moment, gone onto the soft tyres, but the next driver behind Adam Gishney too far back to get close enough for a battle there. Danny 01. Danny 01 is looking right at the back of Asiute there. While we've been away, a second has been reduced to nothing, and the difference is less than half a second now, as we're seeing the Alpine driver all over the back of Asiute, who may be struggling on that medium tyres. Don't forget, Asiute had the soft tyres earlier in this race, managed to pull out an almighty gap over Daniel 1. The deficit was 20 seconds at one point. Daniel 1 has reduced that to 0.4 of a second on the soft tyre, and aiming to take a win here, to reclaim some of the points that he's lost over the past couple of races. Don't forget, Daniel 1 has had the pace, but has had dramas left, right and centre, as we're seeing contact there. I'm not sure who that was. That was a Williams driver. Was that Mangle C12? That was Mangle C12. Obviously lapped, thinking that he can unlap himself while the two drivers at the front of the field are battling for position. Of course, you are allowed to unlap yourself if you are the faster driver. However, the sector times from Mangle C12 would not suggest that. However, he is getting closer to the leader. Asiute now is not going to defend the position from the Williams car and just let them go, and of course normal service is resumed as Cabeza Speed can look at the back of Asiute as they are on the start finish straight at the moment. That is Cabeza Speed looking at the back of Hazeti HD. And I'm just wondering how these drivers have ended up so close once again. There's a bit of space now between Mangle C12 and Daniel 1, but two battles to watch really closely now. The ZTHD and Cabeza Speed in that fight again for that third place position, as we saw earlier on. Now Balint isn't very far behind these guys, so if these two squabble quite a lot, it could give Balint a chance to catch up. However, that might not be the case, because Cabeza Speed is under fire here. ZTHD has lost a position and will have 4th place until he mounts another charge. Daniel 1 is charging. Daniel 1 all over the back of Asiute there, left and then right, as we're seeing. Was that an AlphaTauri on the grid there? It wasn't. Oh, it may have been Carlos 1982 Spain. Just getting it all out of shape. Oh, here we go. Aceite is in the pits. Dives into the pits. Lets Daniel 1 go. So Aceite, not feeling like the medium, is going to cut it for the last 6 laps of the race. Of course, Daniel 1 has to live with the softs. He's been on them for a few laps now. Cabeza Speed comes through. Yep, gets the position over Aceite. Hazete HD also in the pits. That medium tyre not working. Where is Balin? Balin is coming up to the last corner of the race. Is he going to overtake Hazete HD? Hazete HD is in the pits. Coming out of the pits right now on the soft tyre. Balin's gone through. You can hear him dive down the start-finish straight there. And there is another car. The McLaren of Adri 19 also gets ahead of Hazete HD, who is now down in 6th place. He is on the soft tyres, however, so he may get the chance to disappear down the road. However, Cabeza Speed is in 2nd, while Aceite, after leading the race twice on the soft tyres now, is in 3rd place. You can't see Cabeza Speed in the distance just yet, but you may be able to soon. Balin all on his own at the moment, but that will not be for long. Andrew 19 is the driver behind them, soon to be under fire from Hazete HD. Now it's important to see what times Hazete HD can manage as he mounts a charge on Adri 19. Yellow in sector 1, he will be aiming to get a faster time. Currently the lap record is with Jeff, 129.490 for this race. Jeff recovering into 7th place at the moment, and he is right behind Hazete HD. So if Hazete HD stops once more, Jeff could recover that position. However, it looks likely that Hazete HD may stay out on these tyres to the end now, as Adri 19 has stopped the tyres once, is on the softs. So it all depends whether he stops again or whether he sees these tyres through to the end, as Hazete HD is going faster and faster. As this fuel does dissipate from the fuel tank, the cars obviously get lighter as Adri 19 takes to the escape road there. That will cost him time, and Hazete HD, by the time they get to the end of the next straight, might have an opportunity on the brakes here, because as you can see, Adri 19 has lost so much time through that section. You get one corner wrong and it messes all of the other corners up. However, Adri 19 pulling a little bit of time out there on the exit. You can see Balin in the distance there once more. However, Cabeza Speed all on his own for the minute. 17 seconds adrift of Daniel 1, who is still on the soft tyres and still aiming to finish this race in 1st. We know people have cheered for him earlier. We know people have cheered for Balin. We know people have cheered for Mangle C12, who is in the top 10 now, ahead of Adam Kuczynski, and still trying to catch up to the back of Nico Maimo. There is 15 seconds nearly between the two. And Vince Valdinger still having a great race in 8th place there. And Jeff having an okay recovery in 7th place. He will be hoping to get some more points, as we see another car off the road just there. I'm not sure who that was. It is indeed MG 1998 Iffy, just turning the Alfa Romeo around. Of course, you have to remember that these cars are not easy to drive. These drivers, yes, they make it look simple. However, these cars weigh 600 kilograms and they have about 1,000 horsepower, all going through to very wide, very slick tyres, which get very, very hot very quickly. If you overheat them just a little bit, it is a lot easier to spin up the rear wheels, and if you spin them up while loaded, suddenly the car's turning around on you and there is nothing you can do about it. So we have Balin. Balin is with, oh dear, that is Balin turned around by Adri 19 there. I don't know whether Hazete HD made it through. He did indeed. And Jeff has now got a lot closer to these two, but Adri 19 and Balin came together there. And the two spun around, and there's contact once more as Balin tries to defend the position from Adri 19. Both losing out to Hazete HD in the melee. And both now have and AlphaTauri for company. That was such a shame for those two drivers who have had a clean race for 23 laps, came together on lap 24, lost a position but didn't cause much damage to either car as Adri19 gets that corner very, very wrong, but does find a bit more speed on the exit to catch a little bit closer up to Balint. This is a battle that could get very heated very quickly, and as I see a driver go into the pit wall there, I'm not sure who that was. I don't think it was MG1990. It could have been Carlos, but I'm not entirely sure that was the driver. Nico Maimo's in the wrong place. Adri has once again gotten ahead of Balint. This is going to turn out to be an exciting end to the race. Adri19 all over that exit curb, on the exit of the corner. That is Jeff, right behind Balint. That is Jeff. Jeff could recover another 2 places here and end up chasing Hazzetti HD. Asite now sets a personal best of 1:28.700, lap record for this race. Jeff almost overshoots on the brakes into the chicane there, looking at the back of Balint for a move down the inside into the next corner right at the end of this long straight. Will Balint fight that? I don't think he will. He knows Jeff qualified harder. However, Jeff gets it wrong on the exit and loses time to Balint once again. Balint now losing time to Adri19, getting too defensive here. He needs to get his head down if he's going to keep his eyes on the prize, really. He wants those points. However, Jeff is going to make it difficult. Around the outside comes Jeff now. Will he get that move done? Left-hander now is on the inside. However, it's right-hander next. He'll have to stay around the outside. And there's contact again. Balint makes contact with the rear of Jeff. Both drivers around losing time. However, Jeff does rightfully keep that place. And Balint is now out of the hunt for 5th place. Jeff will have to do a bit more work to catch up to the back of Adri19. However, well, that is nothing that can be done. Now a little further up, Asite has a bit of time to catch a Beza speed, but there are only a couple of laps left. We have a yellow in sector 1 now. I'm just wondering who that might be, as we have a McLaren around. That could have been Adam Kjushny. A lap down at the moment, but recovering to continue on. We have a few drivers further down. The only Mercedes on the grid at the moment is Alexandre Lebeleur. 3 laps down at the moment, as is MG1998 Iffy, who is 5 laps down, but still travelling around the circuit in the right direction with all parts attached, which is something that hasn't been said for a while in these races. Those street circuits definitely wreaking their revenge on the cars travelling around them. Now, Danny01 looks like he might be winning this Grand Prix if he keeps his head together. There's a lap and a half now for the Alpine driver, and if there is no drama, no tragedy, then Danny01 will be taking victory here today. There is nothing Cabeza Speed can do to close up 18 seconds within that time. However, Asite can see the back of Cabeza Speed right now. He is lapping about 1.5 seconds faster. At least they were last time around. As we can see, the battle for 2nd or 3rd on your screen, as that has not yet worked. We are trying to get some times up on your screen. There we go. There we go, 1.5 seconds. Cabeza Speed has lost over Asite. So Asite is still in with a shot of 2nd place here. However, Hazzetti HD, not really much of a chance to join this podium party. You can't see either of the cars ahead. So even if there is drama, there's not much chance anything will happen right there. However, a little bit further back, we still have this battle between Adri19 and Jeff going on. This is still raging. There's a little bit further down the field. Mangle C12 has got a little bit closer to Nico Maimo. However, I doubt there will be a battle there by the end of this Grand Prix. I'm going to keep an eye on these timing screens to see if Cabeza Speed does come at any risk at all from Asite. However, this is where the battle is. The action for this 5th place position between Adri19 and Jeff, as Jeff is recovering, doing well to recover from a spin and damage and a long stop in the pits. He did run all the way down to the back of the field and recovering all the way up into 6th place for the minute. Jeff looking at the back of that McLaren, but Danny 01 is now on the final lap. He is in sector 2. Danny 01, the Alpine driver, after having all sorts of drama in the last few races, coming around the final turn right now to take victory in round 7 of Liga Virtual F1 Championship 2021 at the Paul Ricard Circuit French Grand Prix. Congratulations, Danny 01. Now, Cabeza Speed, very, very close to Asite as he manages to hold on to 2nd place, with Asite taking 3rd here today. Hazeti HD is in sector 3, still holding on to 4th place after an amazing 3rd place battle earlier on in the race. 5 cars being a part of that little party. Hazeti HD now comes around the final corner of the race to take 4th place, and I'm sure he'll be happy with that. Now Adri19 is side by side with Jeff. He's off the circuit. The drivers make a little bit of contact there. I'm not sure whether that will be up for review later on, but Adri19 holds on to 5th place while Jeff settles for 6th. Balin takes 7th in the end after a little bit of drama. Benz Valdinger now in 8th place, coming around to the final corner, bringing it home for Haas. No dramas for him at the final corner as he comes across to secure some healthy points in his championship fight. Nico Maimo now, after such an eventful race, he's bringing that car home in 9th place, with Mangle C12 right behind in 10th place there, managing to get close after all. I believe Adam Patriciani might have already finished this Grand Prix as he's coming around very slowly and heading for the pits. Carlos 1982 has also crossed the line in 12th, with Libeleur still going around at full tilt in 13th place, and MG 1998 if he already parked up in the pits, rounding out the field in 14th, but of course finishing the race. Wow, what an event. Thank you all for being a part of this. Thank you all for your comments in the chat earlier on this stream. If you bear with us for another little break session, we will try and get hold of 1 or 2 drivers for their post-race thoughts. Welcome back to the stream. Thank you for joining us with this short little break, and we will now be joined by some of the drivers who were of course involved in a lot of the action there. Now, I think it's fair to say that the driver involved in the most action of that race was Balin. Balin, you join me here in the commentary. Well done for your race today. How are you feeling? If we can hear you, 1 second, I don't believe I can hear you right now. Can you try again, Balin? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear now.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's quite a frustrating race for me. In the start of the race, I have been taken out. I don't know what happened. I have to check the replay. What happened? My setup was actually quite good, but I ate my mediums, so in an early pit stop I had to go for the hards, and then the big actions happening now. In first, I think Jeff, Adri, and Jossit are closed up on me. I contact with Adri first, I think, in the second DRS zone. I don't know what happened. I was on the outside line, and I think I give him enough room, but we have spun, and then okay, let's continue. And then Jeff tried to overtake me in the last corner. I was on the inside line, and I don't know if he said the sorry about the contact is there, but I don't know. Yeah, I feel bad for what I've done wrong. I know I wasn't the cleanest driver out today, but I drove my heart out today.
Well, we certainly saw that. I mean, the battles that we saw were definitely fair. The contract that we saw with Adri as well, I don't think there'll be anything too much about that. It looked like a racing incident to me. You were both having a fair, hard race, and we saw that with a lot of the other drivers as well, especially Hazzetti and Jeff. But very well done to the race. I mean, going into the rest of the season now, do you feel like you can repeat that performance, or take it up to Asite, Cabeza Speed and Danny, or do you feel like that was one of your best races? Because it was fantastic to watch, absolutely fantastic to see the battling.
Yeah, absolutely. The season is long, many more races to go. I will try and let's go and score some points.
Brilliant stuff. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Balint, and well done for your race. I'll let you enjoy and cool off now. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So there you have it, chat. There is one of the drivers involved in the most battles of the race, and some of them absolutely fantastic, so very well done to Balint there. But now we are joined by, I'm very sure, an ecstatically over the moon Danny 01. Danny, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine.
Great stuff. This has been something you've been wanting to get done for a few races now. How are you feeling about that race? I mean, it did look at the start like it might not go all your own way. Were you worried at all?
Yeah, I knew that Sete was going to start with soft tires, but I didn't know that he was going to do 2 pit stops. So yeah, I was worried because I knew that if he was going to do only 1 stop, I was going to overtake him on the track, and I didn't have much top speed. So yeah, I was worried about that.
But to be fair, I mean, even with only 1 stop, I mean, you still caught up 20 seconds of time to catch Asite before he went into the pits for the second time. I mean, just how?
Yeah, I think I had I worked very well with the tire degradation. So I think that was the key of the race today.
Yeah, and in terms of the race today, obviously it is definitely the race that you wanted. But going forward, there's still a long championship to go. I mean, has today given you the confidence and the proof that you need to continue challenging in the rest of the season? Or do you think it's still going to be a really hard fight for you?
I think it's impossible, to be honest, because Carlos Feno has too much speed every race, and I think I only will win races when he doesn't play like today, or when he do some error or something during the race, like Azerbaijan or Spain.
Well, I'm sure that there will be opportunities. As we've seen today, Carlos Feno doesn't attend every race. So we will be wishing you the best of luck going forward and hoping to see more action, because the racing has been absolutely fantastic today. So thank you very much, and congratulations for your win, Danny.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, chat, that is all we have in the waiting room at the moment. I don't believe we're going to hear from Asite or Cabeza Speed. Unfortunately, I would have liked to have had a chat with them, because let's face it, all of these drivers today have had a fantastic battle. no matter where they were on the track, there's been a battle left, right and centre, and there are plenty more battles to come. As I did mention, we have a lot of racing to come, so I hope that you do join us for the next race. Like I mentioned, it is the 4th of June, and we will be at a track that not many drivers will be familiar with. We at the Styrian Grand Prix, and we will of course have many drivers back that haven't been with us for the past couple of races. We will maybe having some new names, but we will definitely be having a lot of the old favourites and a lot of the battles to come. So Jarosai says, great Danny and Cabeza. I agree. I think all the drivers have done a great job today and provided some wonderful entertainment. So please join us next time. Cheer for your favourite drivers, your favourite teams, and let's all have a great time on the 4th of June. Thank you very much. I've been Alexander Rhodes, and this has been great. We'll see you then.